They thought I'd stay silent when they humiliated me, when they erased everything I'd built. But the day they pushed me to the bottom was the day I learned how to rise, how to transform rage into fire. From those ashes, I built something they never saw coming, an enemy wearing the face of their former victim. They stripped me of my title, my office, my dignity. What they didn't know was that beneath the corporate facade they'd torn away lived someone far more dangerous, a woman with nothing left to lose. My name is Rebecca Morgan, and until 3 hours ago, I was somebody. Director of Strategic Development at Falcon Dynamics, corner office on the 42nd floor, 6-figure salary, and a reputation built over 7 years of 70-hour weeks. Now I'm standing in that same office watching maintenance remove my nameplate from the door while security hovers nearby, making sure I don't steal any company property. 15 minutes, the guard says, not meeting my eyes. We used to joke about basketball in the elevator. The meeting that destroyed me started at 9 this morning. I'd prepared a presentation on our Q3 expansion strategy, stayed up until 2, perfecting every slide. But when I walked into the boardroom, Evelyn Sharp was already there, our new executive vice president, hired just 2 months ago from a competitor. She sat in my usual seat, manicured nails tapping against my portfolio. "Rebecca," she'd said, her smile sharp as broken glass. "We need to discuss your future with Falcon." There was no discussion. In front of 12 board members, she systematically dismantled my entire career. My strategies were outdated. My leadership style was ineffective. The Singapore project I'd spent 18 months developing, she'd already assigned it to her own protégé. "We're restructuring," she announced, sliding a single sheet of paper across the mahogany table. "Your position has been eliminated, effective immediately." The room went silent. Not one person defended me, not David, who I'd mentored for 3 years, not Sarah, whose kids I'd babysat during her divorce. They all just stared at their phones, or the wall, or anywhere but at me. "This is my work," I'd said, my voice cracking despite myself. "Everything you're building on was developed using company resources, making it company property." Evelyn's voice was smooth, practiced. "Security will escort you to collect your personal items." The walk from the boardroom to my office was the longest of my life. Heads turned, then quickly looked away. The news had already spread through the corporate instant messenger. I could see the notifications lighting up screens as I passed. By the time I reached my door, my keycard had already been deactivated. Now I'm shoving 7 years into a cardboard box. The industry awards. The framed photo from the company retreat where I'd won the Leadership Excellence recognition. The coffee mug my team gave me that reads, "World's Most Demanding Boss," with a heart drawn underneath. My hands shake as I open my desk drawer. There's the notebook where I'd written my 5-year plan. By 40, I was supposed to be running my own division. I'm 34. "Time's up," security says. I grab my MIT alumni paperweight, the last thing on my desk, and something falls out from underneath it. A sticky note I'd written months ago. "Remember, you're only as valuable as your last victory." Evelyn must have seen it during her office visits. Those friendly drop-ins where she'd ask so many questions about my work. The elevator ride down feels like a descent into hell. 42 floors of failure. In the lobby, people I've worked with for years pretend not to see me. The security guard walks me all the way to the street, stands there until I'm on the sidewalk. "Sorry," he mutters, then disappears back inside. I stand there holding my pathetic box, watching the city move around me. Taxis honk. People rush past. Life continues as if nothing has changed. But everything has changed. I've been erased. My phone buzzes. A LinkedIn notification. Evelyn Sharp has updated her current position to Executive Vice President of Strategic Development at Falcon Dynamics. Strategic Development, my department. She hasn't just taken my job, she's taken my identity. The rage hits me then, so sudden and fierce I have to set the box down on a nearby bench. My whole body shakes with it, not sadness, not yet, just pure, volcanic fury at the precision of her betrayal. At the silence of my colleagues, at my own blindness. I'd been so focused on building something meaningful, I never saw her building my coffin. A text from my former assistant. I'm so sorry. She made me schedule the security escort yesterday. I couldn't warn you. Yesterday, while I was finalizing the Singapore presentation, Evelyn was already planning my humiliation. This wasn't restructuring, this was execution. I pick up my box, start walking toward the subway. My reflection in a storefront window shows a stranger, makeup smeared, blazer wrinkled, carrying the remnants of a dead career. But behind the shock in my eyes, something else is forming, something harder. They think they've destroyed me. They think I'll disappear quietly. Maybe take some middle management position in a no-name company, grateful for any crumb. They have no idea what they've just created. 3 weeks later, I'm standing in a Whole Foods at 2 in the afternoon, staring at a $7 kombucha and realizing I can't afford it anymore. My severance won't last 3 months at this rate. The mortgage on my condo, the car payment, the student loans that seemed manageable on a director's salary, they're all becoming monsters that wake me up at 3 a.m. I put the kombucha back, grab the store brand tea instead. That's when I see Marcus, a former colleague from Falcon. We make eye contact. He immediately turns, pretends to be fascinated by the organic bananas. I watch him actually pick up a bunch and hustle to the opposite end of the store. Like, unemployment is contagious. My phone has become a graveyard of unanswered messages. The recruiters who used to flood my LinkedIn have gone silent once word spread about my restructuring. Nobody wants damaged goods. 3 interviews canceled after mysterious, internal decisions to go in a different direction. Evelyn's reach is longer than I thought. Back in my condo, I refresh my email for the 100th time today. Nothing but rejection templates and spam. The walls feel smaller every day. This place used to be my sanctuary, bought with my first bonus. Now it's just an expensive reminder of what I've lost. I pour wine at noon because what does it matter? CNN drones in the background. Then I see her, Evelyn Sharp, on a panel about innovation in telecommunications. She's wearing the same Saint Laurent blazer she complimented me on last month, talking about her revolutionary Singapore expansion strategy. My strategy. My words coming out of her mouth. We need to stop thinking small, she says to the interviewer. At Falcon Dynamics, I'm building a team that understands the future. I throw the remote at the TV. It misses, cracks against the wall. My phone rings. Unknown number. Probably a debt collector already sniffing around. But I answer anyway. Rebecca? It's Lydia Carter. I haven't heard that name since college. Lydia and I were lab partners at MIT, spent countless nights debugging code and dreaming about changing the world. I heard about Falcon, she says. Corporate assassinations are getting more brutal these days. How did you? Tech world's small. Evelyn Sharp's been bragging at every conference about her bold restructuring. Rebecca, I'm in town. Let's get coffee. The real stuff, not that corporate swill. We meet at a hole-in-the-wall place in Brooklyn. Lydia looks exactly the same. Wild curly hair, paint-stained jeans, that intensity that used to intimidate our professors. She's been running a small consultancy, she tells me, making decent money, choosing her clients. You're spiraling, she observes, blunt as always. I can see it. That look people get when they're defined by a place that spit them out. I gave them everything. Exactly. And what did you keep for yourself? She leans forward. Rebecca, you wrote the playbook that Evelyn's using. You understand this industry better than any of those Falcon vultures. So why are you sitting here acting like they own your brain? Because nobody will hire me. She's made sure of that. Who said anything about being hired? Lydia pulls out her tablet, shows me article after article about telecommunications infrastructure, the gaps in the market, the spaces where giants like Falcon can't pivot fast enough. You know what Falcon's weakness is? They're too big to innovate. They acquire innovation, then suffocate it with bureaucracy. I don't have capital. I don't have connections anymore. You have knowledge and rage. Those are the two best startup fuels that exist. She signals for more coffee. Besides, you think you're the only person Falcon has fucked over? The tech world is full of brilliant people with grudges and nowhere to put them. That night, I lie in bed staring at the ceiling. My laptop sits closed on the nightstand. I haven't opened it in days, afraid of more rejections. But Lydia's words keep circling. Why are you acting like they own your brain? I sit up, open the laptop, start typing, not a resume. Not another pathetic cover letter. A business plan. Rough, angry. More emotion than strategy. But the core of something is there. Every weakness I'd identified at Falcon but wasn't allowed to address. Every inefficiency Evelyn wouldn't understand because she'd never built anything from scratch. By dawn, I have 20 pages. My hands are cramping, my eyes burning. But for the first time in 3 weeks, I don't feel empty. I feel something else. Possibility. The plan is insane, starting a telecommunications company with no funding, no team, no infrastructure. It's the kind of thing they'd laugh at in business school. But Evelyn made one mistake in her perfect execution of my career death. She left me alive. And Lydia was right about one thing. I'm not the only one with a grudge against Falcon. There are others out there. Talented people discarded like trash. Maybe it's time we found each other. I close my laptop, walk to the window. The city is waking up. All those office workers heading to their corner offices and corporate battles. I'm not one of them anymore. Good. The garage in Queens smells like motor oil and broken dreams. It's the only space I could afford, $800 a month, no heat, suspicious stains on the concrete floor. But it has electricity and enough room for 5 desks, which is optimistic considering I only have 2 people who've agreed to meet me. The first is James Park, a network engineer Falcon fired 6 months ago for performance issues, code for refusing to falsify speed test data. He shows up wearing the same Patagonia vest he probably wore to his exit interview. Dark circles under his eyes telling the story of unemployment better than any resume. Rebecca Morgan, he says, shaking his head. When they took you down, everyone knew the place was fucked. The second is Maya Patel, 26, brilliant, and passed over for promotion 3 times at her previous company because, as her manager put it, she lacks executive presence. Code for wrong gender, wrong color, wrong everything except her code, which is flawless. I heard about your Singapore strategy, she says, setting up her laptop on a card table I bought at a garage sale. I also heard Sharp is already fucking it up. We spend the first day mapping out what Falcon ignores. Small to medium businesses desperate for reliable, affordable connectivity. The enterprise clients get all the attention, the massive contracts, the customized solutions. But there are thousands of companies too small for Falcon to notice, bleeding money on overpriced, underserviced plans. We can't compete on infrastructure, James says, sketching network diagrams on a whiteboard I salvaged from a closing startup. But we can be smarter about routing, about optimization. Maya's fingers fly across her keyboard. I've been working on something, a protocol that could reduce bandwidth waste by 40%. My old company wasn't interested. Too radical. By the end of the week, we have a prototype. It's ugly, held together by Maya's code and James's engineering and my desperate determination. But it works. We test it using my neighbor's business, a small accounting firm that pays Falcon $3,000 a month for shit service. Holy fuck, the owner says when we show him the speed tests. This is faster than what I had at my corporate job. That's when I know we have something. But something isn't enough. We need funding, and my savings are hemorrhaging. I've already sold my BMW, downgraded to a 10-year-old Honda. The garage has no heat, and November is brutal. We work in fingerless gloves, breathing out clouds of vapor while debugging code. Then Maya brings in Raj Singh. He's young, maybe 23, but he's got that hungry look, the one that says he'll code for 20 hours straight just to prove a point. Falcon had rejected his internship application 3 times. They said I lacked experience, he tells us, already setting up his equipment. But I've been building networks since I was 15. just not the kind they recognize. He means hacking, though he's careful not to say it. The kind of skills Falcon would never hire but desperately needs. Within 2 days, he's identified 3 major vulnerabilities in our competitor's system. We don't exploit them. We're not criminals. But knowing they exist gives us an edge. We could build our entire architecture to avoid these weaknesses, he suggests. Make security our selling point. The garage becomes our world. Pizza boxes pile up in the corner. The coffee maker runs 24 hours. Maya sleeps on an air mattress behind the servers. James brings his kids sometimes when his ex won't watch them. And they do homework while we argue about packet loss and latency. I barely recognize myself anymore. The woman who wore Armani to board meetings now lives in thrift store jeans and hoodies. My manicure has been replaced by ragged nails bitten down during coding sessions. But there's something pure about this, something real. We're not playing corporate politics. We're building something. 3 weeks into our garage experiment, James makes the connection that changes everything. My cousin works at Sterling Communications. They're hemorrhaging clients to Falcon, but their infrastructure is solid. They just can't match the service packages. Sterling is old school, family-owned, the kind of company Falcon usually crushes. But they have something we desperately need: existing infrastructure we could lease. They'd never partner with a garage startup, I say. They would if that startup could guarantee them a way to fight back. The meeting is set for Friday. I put on my last good suit, the one I couldn't bring myself to sell. The Sterling offices are in Jersey, all wood paneling and pictures of the founder's grandkids. It's the opposite of Falcon's glass and steel monument to capitalism. The owner, Tom Sterling, is 72 and tired. Falcon's offered to buy us out, he admits. Lowball offer, but I'm running out of fight. I show him what we've built: the numbers, the optimization, the security features. But more than that, I show him the future where companies like his don't have to surrender to companies like Falcon. You were the Singapore strategy architect, he says, recognizing my name. Sharp claims that was all her. She's claiming a lot of things that aren't hers. He leans back, studies me. You know what I hate most about Falcon? They think business is about destroying the competition. My daddy taught me it's about building something worth keeping. We shake hands on a partnership that gives us access to Sterling's infrastructure in exchange for 25% of our revenue. It's steep, but it means we can actually deliver service. We're no longer just 5 people in a garage with a dream. We're a threat. That night, I stand outside the garage, looking at the logo Maya designed, a phoenix rising from flames. It's a little on the nose, but it feels right. We need a name, James says, joining me. Phoenix Communications. Phoenix Net, Maya calls out from inside. Shorter, sharper, like us. Phoenix Net, rising from the ashes of our corporate deaths. I think about Evelyn in her corner office, probably planning her next acquisition, her next termination. She has no idea we exist yet. But she will. The first client who walks away shakes my confidence. The second makes me question everything. By the third, I'm sitting in my Honda at 2 a.m., staring at my resignation letter draft to the team. I can't keep watching you destroy yourselves for my vendetta. I write, then delete. Type again. Delete again. Phoenix Net has been operational for 6 weeks, and we're bleeding out. The Sterling infrastructure deal looked good on paper, but reality is brutal. Service outages, compatibility issues, and a customer support system that's just James's cell phone. We've signed 12 small businesses, lost 8 of them within days. The routing algorithm has a fatal flaw, Maya announces during our Monday morning meeting, which happens at 5 a.m. because that's when the garage doesn't freeze. It works perfectly in testing, but real-world conditions are causing packet collision. Raj pounds his fist on the desk. I've been debugging for 72 hours straight. The code is solid. It's the hardware integration that's fucked. Sterling's infrastructure is from 2015, James adds. It's like putting a Ferrari engine in a horse carriage. We need newer equipment, which means we need money. Real money, Not the $50,000 I've scraped together selling everything I own, including my grandmother's jewelry. The VCs won't touch us. A garage startup led by a woman who got publicly fired from Falcon. One firm actually laughed during my pitch. Maybe we should consider, Maya starts. Don't say pivot, I cut her off. We're not pivoting. We're not becoming consultants. We're not giving up. But that night, alone in my condo with an eviction notice on my door, 2 months behind on the mortgage, I open my laptop and start updating my resume. The words blur through tears I refuse to let fall. Director of Strategic Development at Falcon Dynamics, 2017-2024. Past tense, dead and buried. My phone buzzes. Text from Raj. Check this out, urgent. It's a link to a tech blog. Falcon Dynamics suffers major security breach, 10,000 customer records exposed. I called James immediately. Did you see? Already on it, their patch from last month created a vulnerability. Remember that weakness Raj found? They tried to fix it and made it worse. This is our opening. While Falcon scrambles to manage the PR nightmare, we push our security-first messaging. Maya works 30 hours straight to create a demo showing how our architecture prevents exactly this kind of breach. We need to present this to someone big, I say. Someone who's pissed at Falcon right now. That someone turns out to be Data Vault Corp, a mid-sized financial firm whose client information was part of the breach. Their CEO, Patricia Walsh, agrees to a meeting only because her assistant went to college with Maya. The presentation is in a real conference room, not our garage. I wear my last suit again. Notice the hem is coming undone. Patricia Walsh notices too. You're Rebecca Morgan, she says before I can start. Evelyn Sharp brags about replacing you at every industry event. I'm aware. Good, awareness is useful. Show me what you've got. Maya runs the demo. Raj explains the security architecture. James handles the technical questions. I watch Patricia's face, see the moment she gets it. This isn't just another startup pitch. This is a better way. Your infrastructure is Sterling's, she asks. Partnership. We're upgrading systematically. With what capital? I hesitate. The truth will kill the deal. A lie will kill it slower, but more certainly. We're bootstrapped. Every dollar goes to development. She laughs. Not mockingly, but with recognition. I started this company with 3 credit cards and a loan from my ex-husband. Falcon tried to buy us last year. I told Sharp to fuck off. She didn't like that. Patricia leans back. Here's the deal. Data Vault will trial your service for 3 months. If you can deliver 99% uptime and the security you're promising, we'll sign a 2-year contract. But, she holds up a hand. 1 major outage, 1 security issue, and we're done. And I'll make sure everyone knows Phoenix Net failed. It's a lifeline wrapped in a noose. We take it. The next 2 weeks are hell. We move into the garage full-time. Maya's air mattress becomes our communal napping spot. Raj sets up a camping stove for ramen. James's ex-wife threatens court action because he's never home. I give him my last $5,000 to pay for childcare, but we make it work. Data Vault's trial begins, and our system holds. Barely. We take shifts monitoring, someone always awake, always watching. When a router fails at 3 a.m., Raj drives to Jersey to physically replace it. When a DDoS attack hits, Maya defeats it in real time while eating cereal with one hand. Word spreads. Quietly at first. Data Vault's IT manager mentions us to a friend. That friend mentions us to another. Small companies, all Falcon refugees, start calling, not flooding, trickling, but it's enough. Then, week 7 of the Data Vault trial. Everything crashes, not our system. Sterling's entire Eastern hub goes down, old equipment finally giving up. Data Vault and 6 other clients lose connection simultaneously. I'm standing in Tom Sterling's office while he apologizes, explains about insurance, about force majeure. I'm not listening. I'm watching 7 weeks of 18-hour days evaporate. Patricia Walsh is calling. I don't answer. We can fix this, James says. Give me 12 hours. We don't have 12 hours. We have maybe one before Patricia calls every tech journalist she knows. That's when Raj does something insane, something illegal, something that saves us. I can temporarily route them through Falcon's network. They won't notice for hours. It'll buy us time. That's criminal? Yes. But so is what they did to you. I should say no. The ethical leader I used to be would say no. But that woman is dead. Evelyn killed her in a boardroom. Do it. For 6 hours, our clients run on stolen bandwidth. James and 2 Sterling technicians work like demons to repair the hub. Maya creates a secondary protocol to prevent future failures. And I do something I swore I'd never do. I call my father. Rebecca, it's been months. Dad, I need $60,000. Today. He doesn't hesitate. The wire comes through as James brings the repaired hub online. We switch back from Falcon's network with 17 minutes to spare. They never notice. Data Vault stays online. Patricia never knows how close we came to disaster. But I know. We all know. We're one failure away from collapse. Always. The garage feels smaller every night. The Phoenix logo Maya designed mocks us. We're not rising from ashes. We're still burning. Then, on a Thursday that starts like every other Thursday, Patricia Walsh calls, "Congratulations. Data Vault is signing the 2-year contract." And Rebecca? Evelyn Sharp is speaking at the Tech Innovation Summit next month. Data Vault is a sponsor. I can get you a ticket. I stare at the phone after she hangs up. A chance to be in the same room as Evelyn, to see her up close, successful, wearing my strategies like stolen jewelry. We're not ready, Maya says when I tell the team. We need another year before we can really compete. She's right. We're held together by determination and borrowed time. But I'm tired of being patient, tired of being careful. Then we better get ready fast. The Tech Innovation Summit banner stretches across the Javits Center entrance, shaping tomorrow's digital infrastructure. My name isn't on any list, any panel, any booth, but Phoenix Nets is booth 447, tucked between a CBD startup and someone selling blockchain solutions for pet care. Maya designed our setup on zero budget. 2 monitors, a banner printed at Kinko's, and demo stations running on laptops held together with duct tape. Against the gleaming Falcon Dynamics pavilion 3 rows over. We look like exactly what we are, nobody. Remember, I tell the team, adjusting my blazer, bought yesterday at Nordstrom Rack, tags carefully tucked. We're not here to compete with Falcon, we're here to be noticed. That's when I see her, Evelyn Sharp, center stage for the keynote. Wearing a cream Chanel suit that costs more than our monthly burn rate. She's discussing revolutionary approaches to telecom innovation. My approaches, my words, my fucking work. The Singapore expansion has exceeded all projections, she tells the audience of 2,000. My vision for integrated Asian markets. James touches my shoulder. Don't. But I'm already moving, not toward her, that would be stupid, but toward our booth where a small crowd has gathered. Raj is running a live security demonstration, showing how PhoenixNet killed a DDoS attack in real time. The CBD guys next door are watching. Jealous. Who's the CEO? Someone asks. That would be me. I extend my hand. Rebecca Morgan. The man's eyes narrow. Morgan. Falcon Dynamics. Morgan? Former, now PhoenixNet. He laughs, but not unkindly. Ballsy. I'm Richard Ewan, TechCrunch. Mind if I ask a few questions? This is it, our first real press. I nail every answer, threading the needle between bitter and brilliant. Yes. I was restructured out of Falcon. No. PhoenixNet isn't about revenge, it's about serving the clients they ignore. Yes, we're small. But Amazon started in a garage too. Richard records everything. This is interesting. David versus Goliath angle. When can I see a full demo? Right now, Maya interjects, pulling him toward our setup. By noon, we've collected 43 business cards. Real leads, not sympathy. A regional bank wants a security consultation. A chain of medical clinics needs reliable rural connectivity. Small fish, but fish nonetheless. Then Evelyn appears at our booth. She looks exactly the same, immaculate, controlled, predatory. Her assistant hovers behind her, the same one who scheduled my execution. "Rebecca," she says, loud enough for others to hear. "How?" "Enterprising." "Evelyn." She examines our setup with theatrical pity. "Starting over must be so challenging. All that experience, reduced to..." She gestures vaguely. "This." The crowd censors drama, starts gathering. This is what she wants. Public humiliation. Round 2. "Actually," I say, matching her volume. "It's liberating, building something real instead of managing bureaucracy. You should try it sometime. Oh wait, you've never built anything, have you? Just acquired and renamed?" Her smile tightens. "Careful, Rebecca. The tech world is small. Grudges make it smaller. Speaking of small, how's the Singapore expansion? I heard you lost the Samsung partnership last week." I didn't hear that, I guessed. But her micro-expression tells me I'm right. "Temporary setback," she says. "Like the security breach, or the FCC investigation into your billing practices." There's no investigation. Yet. But 3 journalists are now typing frantically on their phones. Evelyn steps closer, drops her voice. "You always were too emotional for executive leadership. And you always were too dependent on other people's ideas. Tell me, did you even understand the Singapore infrastructure proposal? Or did you just memorize my PowerPoint?" She leaves without another word, her exit followed by dozens of eyes. Richard from TechCrunch is grinning like Christmas came early. "That was either brilliant or suicide," he says. "Sometimes they're the same thing." The afternoon explodes. Our booth is packed. Everyone wants to meet the woman who faced down Evelyn Sharp. My phone buzzes with LinkedIn notifications, Twitter mentions, interview requests. Phoenix Net gains 300 website visits in an hour, but it's the email that arrives at 4 p.m. that changes everything. "Ms. Morgan, I represent Pinnacle Ventures. We've been monitoring the telecommunications disruption space. Your interaction with Ms. Sharp today suggests you have the courage we look for in founders. Would you be available for dinner?" Pinnacle Ventures, $3 billion under management. The kind of VC that turns garages into unicorns. "Holy shit," Maya whispers, reading over my shoulder. "Rebecca, this is dangerous." I finish. "VCs destroyed my last startup attempt years ago, before Falcon. But we need money. Real money. The kind that turns Phoenix Net from a revenge fantasy into Evelyn's nightmare." Dinner is at 11 Madison Park. The partner, Jennifer Liu, is everything Evelyn pretends to be. Actually brilliant, actually self-made, actually innovative. She doesn't mention the confrontation until dessert. Evelyn Sharp tried to poach 2 of my portfolio companies last year, offered partnerships, then attempted hostile takeovers when refused. I enjoy backing founders who punch back. We're pre-revenue, I admit, barely surviving. You have Data Vault. Patricia Walsh doesn't back losers. You have Sterling's infrastructure. You have a team working out of a garage in Queens who believes enough to live on ramen. She signals for the check. And you have something Falcon doesn't. Hunger. Real hunger, not quarterly earnings hunger, survival hunger. She slides a term sheet across the table. 2 million seed funding, 8 million Series A if you hit milestones. We announce tomorrow if you're interested. I read the terms. They're fair, more than fair. They're a lifeline dressed as a rocket ship. Why? I ask. Because Evelyn Sharp represents everything wrong with this industry. She's a corporate vampire, sucking innovation from real builders. You're a builder, Rebecca. I can see it. The question is whether you're building something new or just reconstructing what they took from you. I think about the team in the garage, about James's kids doing homework by server light, about Maya sleeping on concrete, about Raj's illegal network hijacking to save us. Something new, I say. Something better. We shake hands. Tomorrow. Phoenix Net becomes real. Tomorrow. We stop being a garage startup and become what Evelyn feared when she destroyed me. Competition. Jennifer calls her driver. As we wait, she says, "You know she'll come for you now. This isn't corporate anymore. This is war." "Good," I reply, thinking about that cream Chanel suit, about my ideas in her mouth, about the 42nd floor I'll never see again. I've been preparing for war since the day she made me carry my career out in a cardboard box. The announcement hits the tech news at 6 a.m. Phoenix Net secures $2 million seed funding from Pinnacle Ventures, founded by former Falcon Dynamics executive. My phone explodes, calls from reporters, former colleagues, clients. But the text I'm waiting for comes at 7:23 a.m. Unknown number. "You just made the biggest mistake of your life. E." I screenshot it, send it to the team with one word: good. The Phoenix isn't just rising anymore, it's spreading its wings, and it's headed straight for Falcon's glass tower. The Wall Street Journal headline reads, "David versus Goliath, Phoenix Net challenges Falcon Dynamics monopoly." Below it, a photo from the summit, me, staring down Evelyn Sharp, looking like I'm ready to burn down everything she's built. We've moved out of the garage into actual offices, nothing fancy. A converted warehouse in Brooklyn. But it has heat and real desks. The Pinnacle funding bought us 6 months of runway and enough infrastructure to stop praying every time we onboard a client. That's when Evelyn starts playing dirty. First, it's the lawyers. A cease and desist arrives, claiming I'm violating my non-compete. Jennifer Liu's legal team laughs at it. My non-compete expired with my termination, and they know it. But it's a warning shot. Then our clients start getting calls. Concerns about Phoenix Net's stability. Friendly warnings about working with unproven vendors. Data Vault holds firm. But 2 smaller clients mysteriously decide to reassess their options. "She's trying to bleed us out," James says, watching our client list shrink. Death by 1,000 cuts. But the real attack comes through Kyle Martinez, one of our engineers. Maya hired him 3 weeks ago. Young, talented, desperate for work. What she didn't know was that Falcon had gotten to him first. I discover it by accident, staying late to review network logs. There's an anomaly in our data flow. Tiny packets of information leaving our servers, heading to an IP address that traces back to Falcon Dynamics. He's been feeding them everything, Raj confirms, pulling up the evidence. Our client list, our expansion plans, our fucking code architecture. Kyle doesn't deny it when confronted, sits there in our conference room, really just a repurposed break room, and shrugs. "They offered me senior position if I spent 3 months inside Phoenix. You were never going to succeed anyway." "Get out," I say, my voice steady despite the rage burning through me. "And tell Evelyn she just confirmed what I always knew. She can't innovate, only steal." But the damage is done. Within days, Falcon announces a new small business initiative that mirrors our model exactly. They undercut our prices by 40%, losses they can absorb for years while we die in weeks. TechCrunch picks up the story. Falcon Dynamics accused of corporate espionage as Phoenix Net rivalry. Heats up. The publicity helps. But publicity doesn't pay bills. 3 more clients leave, spooked by the drama. Jennifer Liu calls an emergency meeting. "You need a win," she says. "Something big, something Falcon can't copy or steal." That's when Patricia Walsh saves us. Data Vault is merging with Cross-State Financial, creating a mid-sized banking consortium. They need telecommunications for 300 branches across 12 states. Falcon's pitching hard, Patricia tells me over drinks. Sharp personally promised to handle the account. "What do you need from us?" "A miracle. The board meets in 72 hours. If you can prove Phoenix Net can handle this scale, the contract is yours. 5 years, $40 million. $40 million. Enough to make us real. Enough to hurt Falcon. We have 3 days to build infrastructure we don't have, demonstrate capacity we haven't tested. and convince a board of conservative bankers to bet on a 6-month-old startup over an industry giant. The team goes into overdrive. Maya codes for 36 hours straight, building redundancy systems. James negotiates emergency infrastructure deals with 3 regional providers. Raj creates a demonstration so beautiful it could make grown men cry. Even Tom Sterling comes through, offering his Western network at cost. But I know technical superiority isn't enough. This is about trust, about story. The presentation is in Data Vault's Philadelphia headquarters. Falcon goes first, Evelyn leading personally, which shows how seriously they're taking this. Through the glass doors, I watch her work the room, all confidence and established power. Then it's our turn. I don't talk about technology first. I talk about David Brennan, CrossState's founder, who started with one bank branch in 1952. About Patricia's father, who built Data Vault with a second mortgage and an idea. About American businesses built by people who were told they were too small to matter. Falcon will give you service, I say. PhoenixNet will give you partnership. They'll treat you like client number 4947. We'll treat you like the reason we exist. Then Maya demonstrates our system. It's flawless. The security protocols, the uptime guarantees, the scalability. But the moment that matters comes when board member asks about our size. Aren't you concerned about stability? PhoenixNet is essentially a startup. Before I can answer, Patricia Walsh stands up. 2 years ago, Falcon had an outage that cost Data Vault $3 million in one afternoon. Their response? A form letter and a service credit. Last month, Phoenix had a potential issue at 2 a.m. Their entire team, including Ms. Morgan, worked through the night to prevent any disruption. That's the difference between vendor and partner. The vote is 7-3 in our favor. Evelyn is waiting in the lobby when we exit. Congratulations, she says, her smile sharp as winter. You've won a contract you can't possibly fulfill. When you fail, and you will fail, it won't just be your company that dies. It'll be your reputation, permanently. You know what the difference is between us, Evelyn, I say, loud enough for the gathering crowd to hear. You're protecting something you inherited. I'm building something I believe in, and that's why you're scared. Her composure finally cracks. I'm not scared of you. Then why are you here? Why the espionage? Why the lawyers? You don't wage war on something that isn't a threat. I walk past her, my team following, but at the door, I turn back. Oh, and Evelyn? Kyle Martinez, your spy? He downloaded our code, yes. But Raj made sure some of it was infected with markers. Every time Falcon uses our stolen architecture, it leaves a trace. Our lawyers will be in touch. It's a bluff. Mostly. But the look on her face is worth everything. Outside, Philadelphia sunshine feels like victory. We have $40 million pending, a real office, and a reputation as giant killers. But more than that, we have proof that PhoenixNet isn't just my revenge fantasy anymore. It's a company, a real company, built from ashes and spite and brilliance and determination. She's going to come back harder, James warns as we walk to our cars. Letter, I say, thinking about all those nights in the garage, about my grandmother's jewelry sold for server space, about the moment I stood on that sidewalk with my career in a cardboard box. We're not in the garage anymore. We're in the game. The manila envelope arrives at my apartment at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday. Inside, hundreds of pages documenting Falcon Dynamics' systematic fraud. Customer data sold to third parties without consent. Service speeds throttled while charging for premium packages. Federal contracts obtained through bribes disguised as consulting fees. The source is anonymous, but I recognize the handwriting on one sticky note. They destroyed me too. Make them pay. It's David, my former protege, who sat silent during my execution. This is it, I tell Jennifer Liu over encrypted phone. This could end them. Or end you, she warns. If you can't prove it's authentic, Evelyn will bury you in defamation suits. But I know it's real. The invoice patterns match irregularities I'd questioned years ago. the data sales align with budget surpluses Evelyn could never explain. This isn't just corporate malfeasance, it's criminal. Maya works to verify the technical evidence while James traces the financial trails. Raj goes darker, using his connections to confirm the bribes through channels I don't ask about. Every piece checks out. We need to be strategic. Patricia Walsh advises when I loop her in. You can't just dump this on Twitter. You need journalists, regulators, prosecutors ready to move simultaneously. I spend 2 weeks building a coalition in secret. Richard from TechCrunch, a contact at the FCC, a prosecutor in the Southern District who's been circling Falcon for years. Each gets pieces, enough to investigate, but not enough to run with alone. Then Evelyn makes a mistake. She appears on CNBC announcing Falcon's acquisition of Sterling Communications. Tom Sterling stands beside her, looking defeated. They've bought out my infrastructure partner for 3 times market value, a desperate move to cut Phoenix Net's legs off. This consolidation strengthens Falcon's commitment to comprehensive service, Evelyn says, staring directly into the camera. A message for me. Tom calls that night. I'm sorry, Rebecca. They threatened to destroy my family's legacy if I didn't sell. Made it clear they'd run Sterling into the ground just to hurt you. It's okay, Tom. You protected what you built. But it's not okay. Without Sterling's infrastructure, we have 6 weeks before service interruptions. The cross-state contract will collapse, Phoenix Net will die, unless Falcon dies first. I set the date, Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Every major tech journalist will receive the package simultaneously. The FCC will get their copy. The prosecutor will get theirs. And I'll hold a press conference in the same hotel where Falcon holds their quarterly earnings calls. Wednesday night, I can't sleep. I stand at my window, looking at the city lights, knowing that tomorrow changes everything. My phone rings. Unknown number. Rebecca. Evelyn's voice, but different. Tired. We need to talk. No, we don't. I know what you have. David grew a conscience, apparently. If you release it, yes, you'll hurt Falcon. But you'll also destroy thousands of jobs. People who had nothing to do with those decisions. Like I had nothing to do with your ambition. A pause. What do you want? Money? Your job back? The CEO position? Tell me what ends this. You ended it, Evelyn. The day you sat in my chair and smiled while you destroyed everything I built. This isn't about what I want anymore. It's about what's right. You're going to regret. I hang up. Block the number. Tomorrow, no threats will matter. The press conference room is packed. I've promised explosive revelations about one of tech's biggest players. They think it's about the cross-state contract or another corporate rivalry story. I start simple. Phoenix Net was born from injustice, but what I'm about to share isn't about my injustice. It's about yours. Every small business overcharged, every customer whose data was sold, every competitor destroyed through illegal means. The first slide goes up. Financial fraud. The journalists start typing frantically. Second slide. Data theft. Phones are recording. Third slide. Bribery. Federal contractors in the room stand up. Phones to ears. Every document will be available on our website in 1 hour. I announce. Every victim can find evidence of what was done to them. Every authority can find proof of what needs prosecution. Ms. Morgan, a reporter shouts, are you suggesting Falcon Dynamics is a criminal enterprise? I'm not suggesting anything. I'm showing you evidence and letting you draw conclusions. My phone buzzes. Jennifer. Falcon's stock just dropped 12%. Then, 18%. Then, trading halted. Within 3 hours, the FCC announces an investigation. The FBI raids Falcon's headquarters. Evelyn Sharp is escorted out in front of every major news camera. Her cream suit replaced by federal custody gray. But I don't celebrate. I sit in Phoenix Net's conference room with my team, watching the coverage in silence. This isn't joy. It's justice. And justice tastes like ash. We won, Maya says quietly. No, I correct her. We survived. Winning is what comes next. The Sterling acquisition is frozen pending investigation. Tom calls, crying with relief. Data Vault's contract is secured. New clients flood in. Companies that want to work with the company that stood up to Goliath. A week later, I'm packing up my desk for the night when James brings me a printed email. You need to see this. It's from Falcon's board. They're cleaning house, need new leadership, want someone with integrity and deep company knowledge. They're offering me CEO. I stare at it for a long moment. The 42nd floor, the corner office, everything I thought I wanted, delivered by the destruction I caused. What are you going to do? James asks. I forward the email to Richard at TechCrunch with a one-line response for publication. PhoenixNet declines to abandon its mission. Some things aren't for sale. Because the truth is, I don't want to rule their kingdom anymore. I want to build my own. The next morning, another envelope arrives. Inside, a single sheet of paper. Evelyn's resignation from all positions, effective immediately. And below it, handwritten, You won. I feed it to the shredder without reading it twice. She still doesn't understand. This was never about winning. It was about becoming something she could never destroy again. PhoenixNet is that something. Built from pain. Raised from ashes. Hardened by betrayal into something unbreakable. We're not just surviving anymore. We're soaring. The National Technology Summit, 1 year later. Same Javits Center, same banner. But everything else has changed. PhoenixNet doesn't have a hidden booth in the corner anymore. We're the platinum sponsor, our logo blazing across every screen. I stand backstage, adjusting the microphone, watching the crowd fill the main auditorium. 3,000 seats, all here for my keynote. Building from Ashes, the PhoenixNet story. 5 minutes, Ms. Morgan, the stage manager says. In the front row, I see my team. James, finally able to afford proper custody lawyers and time with his kids. Maya, just named to Forbes's 30 under 30. Raj, heading our new cybersecurity division with 40 engineers under him. Tom Sterling, our board advisor, looking 10 years younger than when Falcon tried to crush him. Patricia Walsh catches my eye, nods. Data Vault Cross State just renewed for another 5 years. 60 million this time. Ladies and gentlemen, the announcer begins. Please welcome the CEO of PhoenixNet, recently named Fast Company's Most Innovative Company of the Year, Rebecca Morgan. The applause is thunderous. I walk onto that stage, remembering another morning when I walked through a different lobby, carrying my career in a cardboard box. The woman who left Falcon that day is dead. The woman standing here was born in a freezing garage in Queens, forged by betrayal, shaped by determination. 2 years ago, I begin. I was nobody, erased from an industry I'd given everything to. Today, PhoenixNet employs 300 people, serves 12,000 businesses, and has revolutionized how small and mid-sized companies access telecommunications infrastructure. I don't mention Evelyn's name. She's serving 3 years minimum security. Falcon Dynamics dissolved and sold for parts. That chapter is closed. But this isn't a revenge story, I continue. Revenge suggests going backward. This is about transformation, about learning that sometimes the worst thing that happens to you becomes the foundation for the best thing you'll ever build. The presentation flows. Our journey, our mistakes, our victories. I talk about sleeping in the garage, about almost losing everything twice, about the moment we chose building over bitterness. The audience is silent, absorbed. PhoenixNet exists because traditional telecommunications forgot who they serve. They got comfortable, complacent, cruel. They confused size with strength, inheritance with innovation. We prove them wrong. The Q&A session brings the hard questions. A journalist asks about Evelyn, about forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't my responsibility, I answer. Building something better is. A venture capitalist asks about our IPO plans. PhoenixNet will go public when it serves our mission, not before. We've learned that some things matter more than maximizing shareholder value. Then, from the back, a young woman raises her hand. She looks exhausted, defeated, familiar in a way that makes my chest tight. Ms. Morgan, I was just laid off from my company, not for performance, but for politics. I'm 31, and I feel like my career is over. What would you tell someone standing where you stood? The room holds its breath. I'd tell you that right now, in this moment of loss, you're being handed a gift wrapped in barbed wire. It hurts to hold, but inside is freedom you didn't know existed. The freedom to build something true, something yours, something that can't be taken by someone in a nicer suit with a sharper smile. I pause, making sure she hears this next part. Your career isn't over, it's beginning. The career they gave you is over. The one you'll build for yourself starts now. And if you need inspiration, remember that PhoenixNet started with 5 people who'd been thrown away, working in a garage that smelled like motor oil and broken dreams. Today, we're worth $1.2 billion. But more importantly, I add, we're worth it because we built something worth building. Not for revenge, not for money, but because the world needed what we could create once we stopped letting others define our value. The applause erupts, standing ovation. I see the young woman writing something down, her posture already straighter. Backstage, Jennifer Liu hands me champagne. Hell of a speech. It was true. The best ones are, by the way. Microsoft called. They want to discuss acquisition. No. You didn't hear the number. Don't need to. PhoenixNet isn't for sale. We're not done building. She smiles. Good. I'd have been disappointed if you'd said yes. That night, I stand on the roof of our Brooklyn headquarters, our real headquarters now. 10 floors, Phoenix logo visible from Manhattan. The city spreads out before me. All those lights representing businesses, dreams, people trying to build something meaningful. My phone buzzes. A LinkedIn message from the young woman at the conference. Starting my company tomorrow. Thank you for showing me it's possible. I think about Evelyn in her cell, about Falcon's empty towers, about the person I was when I believed corner offices and titles determined worth. That woman would be horrified to see me now, no longer part of the establishment, no longer playing by their rules. Good. They pushed me down to nothing. Expected me to disappear into the smoke of my own destruction. Instead, I rose from those ashes and built something they never saw coming. Not just a rival, but a revolution. PhoenixNet isn't about revenge anymore. It never really was. It was about proving that when you destroy someone completely, you free them from everything that held them down. You give them wings made of scar tissue and spite. And those wings? They're strong enough to soar. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. Drop a comment below and let's connect. If this story of rising from the ashes resonated with you, please subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts. What would you have done in Rebecca's position? Your stories inspire me to keep creating. Until next time. Remember, sometimes the worst thing that happens to you becomes the foundation for your greatest triumph.